20% of people in the world have it, and 85% of the people that do have it do not even know that they have it. So you could be destroying your testosterone levels while you're sleeping, absolutely pulverizing them, and you don't even know it. Alright bro, so here's a story you've definitely never heard about me. So I used to see demons when I was younger. Like when I was a little boy, I actually used to about 3 times a week, my family, like at around 3 a.m., 2 a.m., my family went through it. Imagine you're my father, you're sleeping, you're in your bed, and then you kind of get shaken really hard, and then you wake up like something's wrong, right? Because you're not supposed to be waking up like that. And then your little boy, your young son, this is when my parents were still together, he's next to you and he's looking up at you, and then he's asking you to tell the little boy with the red eyes to go away. Imagine another time I'm screaming in absolute horrific terror because of the creatures crawling and running around my walls. Another time I went to my mom in the middle of the night and I told her that there was a serial killer that was gonna protect us and protect us from monsters, and that something very, very terrible was gonna happen. And then apparently right when I said that, the carbon monoxide alarm went off, and then she was so scared she didn't even try to check it. She literally just took us and then hid. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, my dog's right here, bro. He's lurking. And now I have this thing called gynecomastia. Basically, it's this condition that it's not painful or anything, but basically when you have a hormonal disruption as a man, as a young boy, when you're growing up and you have too much high levels of estrogen, and you have this condition that I'm telling you that literally 20% of people in the world have it, and 85% of the people that do have it do not even know that they have it. So you could be destroying your testosterone levels while you're sleeping, absolutely pulverizing them, and you don't even know it. So I've got gynecomastia, just a little bit of breast mass, no, I don't spray milk or anything. I'm not really nervous about it. Make fun of me if you want in the comments. but I'm fine with it. But the thing is, the actual problem there is the hormonal imbalance. And the thing is, the good thing about testosterone is that it increases your mood, it makes hard work fun, it gets you big strong muscles in the gym, and you know what, it is just good for all of your basic bodily processes. Nobody understood what was happening to me at the time. When I was younger, everybody just thought I was kind of a little bit crazy until they took me to the doctor and they told me I had this condition called sleep apnea. And because of this condition, I had these intense, severe hallucinations when I slept. So I actually believed that I was seeing these things. I actually was seeing these demons. Now, I don't actually remember these things that I was apparently speaking. But what night terrors are, you get night terrors when you have sleep apnea, is you act out your dreams. So I was seeing these things and I was reacting as if I was seeing them. I had my eyes open, I was screaming, I was running around, I was terrorizing my family. Poor family, shoot. Alright, I'm getting off track. Anyways, hypoxia is the condition of when your body does not have enough oxygen to maintain homeostasis. And if you do not have enough oxygen, then you are having a buildup of carbon dioxide. And when you have a buildup of carbon dioxide, your brain detects, this part of your brain called the medulla oblongata, it detects this high amount of CO2, and it kind of it makes you stress. It increases your cortisol levels, and because your cortisol levels are higher, then you directly decrease your testosterone. Now, I don't know how much you know about cortisol and testosterone, but basically cortisol is inverse to testosterone, and I'm going to explain to you why. So the first reason is that they both have the same precursor. So by precursor, I mean they are both built, cortisol is built and testosterone is built from cholesterol. So you'll hear in modern times everybody saying that cholesterol is a bad thing. However, we know that for hormonal optimization, we should have cholesterol because cholesterol is the building block of testosterone. However, the reason why a lot of people say that you should not have cholesterol is because if you undergo a lot of stress, if you have a life of intensity that's super, super scary, you end up having more stress. So your testosterone goes down, and then you start to retain this cortisol and this cholesterol in all the bad ways that people tell you to not eat cholesterol because of that, saturated fats. The second way is hypothalamic pituitary gonadal Axis suppression. This one's a lot more complicated, but basically all you need to know is that high cortisol actually reduces the amount of gonadotropin releasing hormone that basically like creates testosterone in your balls. So more cortisol equals less testosterone for second reason. The third reason is that cortisol can actually increase the activity of enzymes that actually turn testosterone into estrogen, meaning that if your body is creating like a good amount of testosterone, your body literally starts to eat the testosterone and turn it into estrogen, especially one enzyme called aromatase. The fourth way is actually direct nut impact. What a name. Anyways, high cortisol levels directly attack the Leydig cells in your testes, and that also inhibits the amount of testosterone that you're able to secrete. There's a chapter in my favorite book called The Way of the Superior Man, written by David Deida. In this book, there's a chapter, it is called Breathe Through the Front. Now this brings up the idea of the spiritual side of the thing that we're talking about versus the scientific side of what we were talking about. In this chapter, David Deida gives off this example of seeing somebody on a bus who's like closed off body posture, they're breathing shallowly, and they're so closed off in on themselves in self-concern. He contrasts this example with the man who just exudes confidence, the man who you don't really know what it is about him, but he just somehow grabs your attention. That man is me. I'm kidding, bro. The man who has such good, huge body posture, the man who is not afraid to breathe fully and press out his stomach into the world. And I just thought it was interesting because the example that he used, he said it is a circulation of masculine energy using the air. So that is the spiritual side of things, as well as the other spiritual aspect of this is speaking of the sacral chakra and your sexual energy. So the sacral chakra is like located a bit like lower over here. And in this chapter of The Way of the Superior Man, David Deida, he says that the more you can breathe with your body like fully is the more you are able to master the world. What's interesting about this chapter is that it speaks of circulating your masculine energy, and that is the spiritual side of things. However, the scientific side of things speaks of when you do breathe fully, you get less carbon dioxide in your blood, therefore less cortisol, less stress, and higher levels of testosterone, and therefore technically getting that sexual hormone, that androgen hormone, in higher levels. So I just thought it was interesting seeing the correlation between the spiritual side of things and the scientific side of things. So what are your action steps? How do you implement all this information? How do you fix your breathing patterns at night? Well, you fix them throughout the rest of the day when you are actually conscious and awake. There's two things that you can do consciously for you to actually end up breathing more fully, like on the regular, on like out of basic instinct. And number one sounds really simple, but it's actually kind of complicated to do when you're first starting out, is breathing through your nose. Now, throughout this whole video, I've probably like breathed through my mouth like many times that I can't even count. Now I've got to be more conscious of it. Nasal breathing increases the amount of oxygen you were inputting into your body, and increases the amount of CO2 that you were expelling from your body. And your sinuses, they act as almost portals to your lungs. So the more you breathe through your nose, the more your sinuses actually dilate and become bigger, so breathing through your nose becomes easier. And bro, don't worry, you're not gonna get like big ass nostrils. This is something that happens like internally that you wouldn't even notice. This gives you increased lung capacity over time, as well as like the mewing stuff. By the way you mew is you just smile, you swallow, and stop smiling. That's really the way you mew and get correct tongue posture. By the way, a lot of people push on the top of their mouths. No, you do not want to do that. You simply just want to create a vacuum and just rest. Look at me breathing through my mouth. And simply just rest your tongue on the roof of your mouth. So this reduces apnea, like not just sleep apnea, but apnea throughout the day, as in shallow breathing. So I advise you to right now open your body. Think about if you're like hunched over and like watching this and like almost like you're kind of afraid for something. Think about you being open. When you are open, you are able to circulate your energy so much more and circulate air, oxygen throughout your entire body much easier. Now I'm going to explain to you the way that David Deida spoke of breathing the correct way in this book. If you put your left hand on your chest and your right hand on your stomach, here I'll like kind of push you like a bit closer here so you get a better view. My phone is gonna fall, bro. But anyways, pretend this isn't like a pregnancy picture. So put your left hand on your chest and your right hand on your stomach. When you breathe in through your nose. Make sure you do that. Make sure your stomach presses out and then your top hand stays. And then at the end of your breath, at the very end, you push your chest out and breathe into your chest. Kind of like breathing kind of like that. So if you've done it correctly, you will feel your nuts kind of like move a little bit. This is breathing the most fully that is possible. The interesting thing about this is that you will have blocks depending on the amount of trauma that you have had in your life. Many people, many guys, they might not even be able to breathe past their chest because they like hold in their stomach and try to like look like they have a six-pack their whole lives. I used to do that for a very long time too. The thing is that, and like, by the way, that's not like the only reason, but the thing is that the more you're able to breathe through the tensions that you have, the blocks that you have from your past, the more you're able to circulate your energy throughout. Other ways that you can actually fast track your progress through breathing through your nose, because I understand that breathing through your nose is sometimes an uphill battle, because what ends up happening sometimes is that your nose is blocked. Your nose, like, you just can't breathe. But if you hear me right now, like, I'm able to breathe very well, but that's because it is my default. So the best advice, actually, if your nose is blocked, is to breathe through your nose anyways, because your body will, like, your nasal passages, they will dilate, because your body does not want to die, bro. So during exercise, like especially cardio, that's the best way you can fast track your progress through breathing through your nose. The other cool thing is that I used to like taste blood when I ran, bro. And the thing is, it is entirely possible to do intense cardio. I mean intense, like Muay Thai type stuff, breathing through your nose. Because eventually, you get that increased lung capacity, you get that like dilated nasal passages, and you're able to do that cardio because you have a higher efficiency of oxygen coming in and CO2 coming out. Another thing a lot of people do is they tape their mouth shut using this special tape. I never did this because I actually did get surgery to get my adenoids and tonsils removed so I'd have more space for air to come in. So I guess you can say that, oh, he's cheating. he's like, bro is cheating. But I'll tell you what, even with the surgery, it was hard to start breathing through my nose because I had been doing the mouth breathing for such a long time. So some people do mouth taping. I'll find a good 5-star review if like you're really struggling, you notice your mouth is dry in the morning and you're breathing through your mouth when you wake up. Then you can tape your mouth shut, and the way that this tape works is that it's like strong enough so that it'll hold your mouth, but if you need to open your mouth for any reason, it'll open like super easy. Now I quickly want to mention a couple bonuses, like how do you breathe for stress? Like what if you are actually stressed out? There's 2 ways. Now the first way I've spoken before, it is a physiological side, it is a pacifying gesture that you do when you're actually crying. It's like the double breath in, more oxygen in, and then the exhale, oxygen out. Like you do that when you're crying, like, you know, that kind of thing. And then the second one is box breathing. So that is breathing in through your nose for 4 seconds. Holding for 4 seconds, and I'm actually not even gonna do the full thing with you, but basically you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, and then you hold for 4 seconds, and you just keep cycling that, and then that lowers your stress levels as well. To recap this video very, very quickly and like kind of not really doing it justice, carbon dioxide increases cortisol, and through those 4 processes we talked about before, decreases testosterone. Breathe fully, and I mean breathe fully like with your nuts kind of bulging throughout the world, with your stomach pressing out, like this analogy of a fat king sitting on his throne. Breathe fully with your nose, and if you're stressed, perform a physiological sigh or do box breathing. Go to this timestamp for your action steps and make sure you implement and actually learn something, get something out of this video and stop the doom scroll. Because remember, learning is same circumstance, different behavior, and if you don't change your behavior after this video, then you haven't learned anything. If you want help implementing what you just learned in this video, and you want to especially like learn about your body language or learn how to implement these breathing techniques in your own life so they become basic instinct, you can book a free one-to-one call with me in the description, and I'd love to talk to you. It's been fun to talk to the other guys who've booked the free calls. It's been great giving them great advice. And I also have a paid community in the description. It's $11 because we have 11 members. If you're just curious about all the value that I'm putting in there, I'm like building it, adding courses. Right now I'm working on this esoteric looks maxing guide that's going to be done by the end of the weekend, basically hormonal optimization without like the crazy chemicals inside of your like facial cleansers like phthalates and those kinds of things that mess up your hormone levels. So if you're interested to see what I have to offer and what I've been yapping about, you can just check out the link in the description. And yeah, bro, I love you so much. See you in the next one.